Hi, my name is Mike O'Leary. I'm 65 years old. I live in Marco Island, Florida, which is in southwest Florida. I've lived here for about 10 years total since retiring from as a firefighter in Michigan, firefighter and a paramedic. And I had a pretty extensive background in sports also, growing up and also in my adult life. I was highly competitive in skiing and also in later on in jet skiing, and played a lot of racket sports, some hockey. About 5.5 years ago, I think it was, I started playing pickleball and I became addicted to the sport almost immediately. I loved the sport. I had played squash and racquetball and other sports in my life and enjoyed them, but pickleball was an instant love, an instant addiction for me, and it fueled my competitive nature that I had all my life. Was starting to play at a pretty high level, and I had secret ambitions. I didn't tell anybody, but I had ambitions of becoming a pro. I was about 59 years old then, and I came a little short of that. The bump in the road came with the diagnosis of Lewy Body Dementia. I sank. I had depression for months, and I'd be kidding myself to say that I don't have moments even to this day where certain things, certain aspects of this condition get me down from time to time. I had conversations with my loved ones, my friends, and I realized that at some point in time it was inevitable that I may not recognize their faces even. And it was kind of a scary thought. It was about 4 years ago, I believe, I started having trouble with my speech sometimes, which I still do. I started having trouble. My wife noticed my short-term memory started becoming a problem. And I started stumbling and tripping when I would be out on the pickleball court. I really wanted that competitive aspect of my life to come back. So my wife received a phone call several months after my diagnosis and several months after I had stopped playing from a local facility that was starting a wheelchair pickleball program. And they said, would I be interested in trying this? And at first I was very hesitant. I said, no way. I'm used to playing at a high level in everything I did, and I just said, no way. But my wife is very persuasive, and she convinced me to go. And I went there, and she was sitting on the sidelines watching me fumble around with a paddle, pickleball paddle in one hand and the ball in the other, and trying to figure out how to maneuver this wheelchair and play the game that I had once played so easily. And I couldn't even figure out how to turn the chair left, right, and stop, go back. But after about 10 minutes or so, I started to get the hang of it, and a few of the other wheelchair people at this facility gave me some instruction. And about 15 minutes or so later, I was starting to get the hang of it. And so much so that I must have glanced over her. I don't remember. I glanced over at my wife, and she saw me smiling, like a big smile. And she since then has said to me several times, she said, that was the day, that was the moment I knew you were back. I knew I had you back. She said, something changed at that moment. And she's right. We left that facility, we came home, and apparently, I don't remember this because I have very bad short-term memory, but she tells me that I talked nonstop about it. We came home, we ordered a sports wheelchair. We called the company, we ordered it. They came, they measured me for it specifically to fit me. And I got the chair and I started playing. 3.5 years later, I'm in that chair and it's no different than when I was running on my feet. I'm a little slower than I was when I was on foot, but I can maneuver it well enough now that I can compete with the people that I used to compete with, and often even beat them, which is very rewarding to me, especially my close friends, because I need to give them a hard time, it feels good.
I have gone through some injuries of my own, and watching Mike and how he handles himself and how he's come through his situation has inspired me to be back and playing again. So he's helped me more than I've helped him.
Mike O'Leary is my favorite pickleball partner. We started playing about 6 years ago. About 5 years ago, we entered a few tournaments, and he's the one I always play with.
What he faces on a daily basis and how upbeat he is all the time, and just constantly wanting, to help anyone here, which is just, again, one of his great, qualities. It's never about him. It's always about what can I do to, help other people.
He's like a brother to me that I never had. I got 3 older sisters, never had a brother. He's taught me many things about life, mostly how to have fun.
He is a teacher, and he has taught us about his disease. He's taught us about how to adapt, and he laughs at himself, and he is helping us all become better people.
Before I was in a wheelchair, when I would play a sport, my competitive nature was so great that I only felt like I was winning if I won a match or a game or a tournament or whatever it was that I was a race or whatever it was that I was competing in. I only felt like a winner if I won. And today, I can honestly say that every day I get in that chair and roll onto that court, I've won. And it's with my particular situation with dementia, my brain is very often quite cluttered with information that I can't process, and I get on that court and everything goes away. All I see is the game I love, pickleball. And I get so much enjoyment out of that it's just a win being out there. I could lose 3 games in a row and be a winner. I have a tremendous support from people like the Engage family, the Engage pickleball family, the Elliots, Robert, who is the owner, and his wife Jody, and their kids Rachel and Josh. They have helped coach me. They sponsored me. I've been a sponsored Engage player for probably 3 years now. They've been tremendous. They've helped us in so many ways. They've become friends. They're not just coaches for me. They're not just a sponsor. They're family friends, and we've stayed at each other's homes, and we're friends for life. I would really be remiss if I didn't say and mention that it's not just pickleball that has changed my life and made my life good again. My support system, first and foremost, my beautiful and loving wife, patient wife. She is at the top of the list. I wouldn't be in this good space if it wasn't for her. She has been a relentless caregiver, both medically and emotionally. She's taken care of everything. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even know that I had Lewy Body Dementia. She just knew something was wrong and wouldn't stop until we found out what was wrong with me. We went to a few neurologist appointments because she said we need to find out what's wrong. We actually had a misdiagnosis from one, and after a week of all this testing, the neurologist at the Mayo Clinic said, without question, you have Lewy Body Dementia. We were shocked. I remember coming home, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. And my wife, her love and her devotion has, that's why I'm where I'm at now. Her persistence, you don't want to mess with her. She's number one. And I'm just very fortunate to have her in my life. She's why I'm doing well. And this disease, if you want to call it a disease or a disorder, brain disorder, although it's a progressive disease, I know that it will shorten my life. I know that the day is coming when I will no longer recognize the faces of my wife, my kids, my grandkids, my friends. But there's something, for some reason, that doesn't worry me anymore. I am not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of the shortening of my life, the not recognizing them. There's something in me that I've learned over the course of these last few years, that the love that I feel for these people in my life and the love that I've received from them over the years, if I don't recognize their face, if they walk in the room, there's something in here, in my heart. I don't think you can ever take that away. I know that I will be comforted by their presence. I believe that there's more to our life than just our conscious life. I don't think you can take this away, what you feel in here. I think I'll take that to the very end. I'm confident of that. So it doesn't worry me. It comforts me. It makes me feel good. What I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to accomplish here is I hope that people understand that through my experience, they can also see when they are given bumps in the road in their lives, things that seem devastating at the moment, living their great lives suddenly change. It is hard to overcome, but there's always a way to find your way and climb your way back up. But until I was considered disabled, until my life changed and I became a disabled person, I regret that I went through my life not really paying a lot of attention to others that did have disabilities. I mean, I would see people in a wheelchair and say, oh, that's too bad. Or people with other disabilities, mental disabilities, emotional disabilities, and I'd say, oh, that's too bad, that's too bad. But I never did anything about it. I never put much thought beyond that to it. And for that, I'm a little regretful that I've done that. And that's why it's never too late, I guess. I'm hopeful that it's not too late, because since becoming disabled, I have a much, much better understanding of disabilities and people that have disabilities, and that is one of the other motivating factors in my desire to help them. I love teaching people that are in wheelchairs, that have some sort of a disability, no matter what it may be. Love teaching them how to mobilize and play pickleball in these chairs. And with regards to tournaments and that, we're trying to get more and more involvement in wheelchair participation in pickleball tournaments. 2 years ago, I was the only participant at the US Open Pickleball Championships. Last year, I managed to get us up to 6, and this year, I believe we'll have 10. To me, that's so rewarding. Every single person that I have shown how to play pickleball in a wheelchair, every single one of them has loved it and has stuck with it and done very well. One of the other things that I've been fortunate enough to do to try and get my message out to people is several times over the past few years I've been asked to either write articles, or people have written articles about me in local papers and publications around the area here. And that has helped reach out to some people too. Every little bit helps, and that's been one of the things that I've been able to do. And I've been fortunate enough to play in a lot of tournaments. Being in a wheelchair now, I laugh about it sometimes, but I'm always saying this. I live my life the way I play in a wheelchair. You know, that's how I roll. You know, that's how I roll.